Planarcadia is approaching, and with it comes a new cast of characters and a ton of new mysteries. Some faces new, some old, and some I wonder how they even got here. And you know that we have got to talk about it, because this world of Elation is definitely going to bring the house down, and I think we are due for some therapy after the trauma of Amphorius and the Dahlia Penacony fever dream. But just like how we thought Penacony was going to be a vacation, this journey is bound to take a turn for the worst and send us spiraling into a course of history that involves us saving this world in some way. Probably involving Assad Pramod and possibly involving Dr. Primitive, because it does say eccentrics and geniuses alike gather in this world of Elation. So this cast is definitely going to be something special. But speaking of the cast, Ho-Yo released a ton of new characters that I am way overdue on diving into. So without further ado, this is the new cast of Planarcadia Explained. Okay, so truth is, there are a bunch of characters here, and I am going to need a part 2 or even 3 to do a deep dive on everyone. Because even though we don't know much about any of these new guys or where they even come from, there are still some things we can glean from the details that we do have. Also, little strange detail here, the pictures all say this is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to any persons or events is totally Aha's fault. So this could not even really be them. It could just be an Aha different take or rendition of these characters, or just them and this is just a joke. We don't know, and this will probably be an overarching theme of Planarcadia, considering with Elation, you never really know if they're being serious or not. But it's more fun to think of it as if all of these characters are really here. So let's do some over-analyzing, shall we? Alright, so starting off with the two who will be on the 4.0 banner, let's talk about Yao Guang and Sparxie. Yao Guang, the seer strategist of the Xianzhou Yutre, is a general, and as I like to call them, pseudo-emanator of the hunt, because the way that the spiritists work, they aren't exactly emanator powers, but they are powers given directly by Lan, but they aren't necessarily powers that are from Lan that are given directly to the person. It's kind of like a weapon Lan gives them, so that doesn't necessarily make them an emanator, because once one general dies, that spiritist just gets inherited by the next one, so that power isn't directly given to that one person, or else it would dissipate or go back to the Aeon. Also, the Marshal exists, and that is definitely an emanator. So I made this term called pseudo-emanator, because they're kind of an emanator, but kind of not, kind of like the Stonehearts. But the generals are way more powerful than Stonehearts, because the Aeon of Friendly Fire is very heavy-handed on the way they give out power, and they are known to be on par with Lord Ravagers, probably low-tier ones like Fantilia, but still. Anyway, back to Yao Guang, pseudo-emanator of the hunt. She is a master of all things divination and uses her abilities to see the future, but she does not allow this to be a detriment, because she greatly values the spontaneity of life and refuses to use her divination frivolously or to dictate how she goes about her day, unlike her favorite little protege, Lady Fu. And I believe that she does this because she knows how powerful her divinations are and just how easily she can slip into knowing how she will die or what her life will amount to. Two things that can easily make a person fall into a depressed life and feel pointless. And according to my in-game past theory, that would make her a nihility character. However, what makes her Elation is the fact that she knows this is the case, but refuses to fall into the void of self-knowledge, and instead laughs at the possibility of doing that while also enjoying the natural ups and downs of life. So in that way, she's laughing at the void just like Aha did. Very, very Elation. But her Elation-centered attitude aside, she has a very clear peacock aesthetic going on here. And the reason why this is kinda crazy. Let me explain. Because if you were there for the Terminus video, you would know that a certain 1,000-armed Bodhisattva is named Guan Yin. And it just so happens that the peacock symbolizes Guan Yin's 1,000 arms and having 1,000 eyes on its tail. Very artistic and exaggerated take to say out loud, but when you look at Guan Yin Guanyin and a peacock side by side, it makes more sense that way. So I'm guessing that in the way that Guanyin is seen as great and wise, always guiding people to the Pure Land, Yao Guang is the same in rivaling the divine foresight himself in wisdom and being the guide of the Shenzhou, because it is a diviner's job to navigate and steer the ships away from harm. So to sum things up, she is very good at her job, very smart, very wise, but she is tactful in not letting her foresight abilities bleed into her everyday life. Side note, if Terminus and Yao Guang are both linked to Guanyin, I wonder if Yao Guang has some insight on the finality, or if she will be involved with the Stellaron Hunters soon. Food for thought. But moving on, let's talk about our beloved Fool. Because Sparxie has returned with a brand new outfit and a new identity. And let me tell you, this makes all the sense. If there was a character that was bound to get a second release, it is the character entirely themed around having different personalities and personas. And it is for this reason that I made the in-game paths theory in the first place. Because the reason why she is a Harmony type character and is now Elation is just so fascinating. Because the reason why she is a Harmony type character when we meet her is because of her past, or rather her lack of a past. Because from what we know of her story, she was an orphan inspired by a small theater troupe and the lead actress who donned multiple masks with twin tails, calling herself Sparkle, who gracefully glided around the stage like a fish. So you know where her appearance and her whole fish thing comes from. And little Sparkle was enamored. So she went backstage after the show to be handed her first mask by the actress, who told her that she could now become Sparkle whenever she wanted. And little Sparkle took this personally. So she became Sparkle all the time, and from that day forth, there was no more little girl, because she did not have a name and it did not matter anymore. That little girl no longer existed. There was only Sparkle. So Sparkle studied under the actress and eventually became an accomplished playwright, until she became disillusioned. She started to lose herself in the opposite way that normal actors do. Instead of losing their own personality in the floods of different characters they play, Sparkle never had a sense of self at all. So it was reality and being confined within a stage that made her lose touch with Sparkle and who she wanted to be, which is everyone all the time. So to fix this, she had one option. She had to leave the stage for the grandest stage of them all, life. This way, she gets to act without ceasing, becoming whoever she wants, whenever she wants, and playing whatever role she pleases, leading to her creating thousands of Sparkles within herself, all of which she brings to life and kills off herself. So, just like Sheepei is a plural aeon with multiple entities within themselves, Sparkle is whoever she wants to be whenever she wants to be them, and all of these people inhabit one body, making her just like Sheepei and very much Harmony. And Sparxie is just one of these personalities, who seems to be a content creator or streamer or something, so Lil Guay's got some competition. Hopefully we get a collab in the future. I feel like that'd be a lot of fun. Would have been really fun if she showed up in the comments of one of Lil Guay's streams, but Penacony hadn't released yet, so yeah, that was all the way back in 1.5. Anyway, Sparxie being a content creator is so funny because the reason for her being Elation just happens to be the same as mine. And this is a very meta commentary on content creation in general and the person behind the mask of the screen. Because every content creator, actor, or voice actor has to put on a mask in order to do what they do. You end up tweaking different parts of your personality to live up to what your audience expects or wants you to be. And myself being an example, because of this mask, I get to be Nova, this theory guy who has the most whacked out and controversial takes with predictions that end up being right way more often than they should be, and he spouts off multiple facts about the most random things that he has no business knowing about, like entropic forces and Buddhism. And I love being this guy because in reality, I don't enunciate my words like this at all. I stutter and I'm not at all that confident. I'm scared of being wrong every single time I upload. But because of this mask, you would never know that. So that aspect of becoming what your audience wants you to be is on full display with Sparxie. Because whatever identity is liked is who she is. Sparkle and Sparxie are fundamentally the same person, but mentally, they are not the same person. She says herself, whoever is seen, whoever is liked, is the correct answer. So I'm expecting some major fourth wall breaks from her. And I mean Sampo levels of fourth wall breaking. The guy that is for some reason absent from this elation party. But that's besides the point, because I want to talk about one more person before we go. Nihilux. And even though we know absolutely nothing about her, I think we can get something out of this art. So first things first, let's look into her name. Nihilux. Nihility Lux. The light-consuming black hole void, and the light itself. This woman is going to have some major contradictions going on. But looking into her appearance, she is holding a pen and has this manga panel art style on her hair and on her eye. And she is Origin Aha. Oh boy. Big Nihility vibes going on here. Nihil and Origin. That is definitely Acheron, Right, and May coded. And Herta coded because she looks like Herta. I'm not giving that up, you see it too. But mostly Acheron coded because we know that she wielded the sword of Origin versus the End. So there are some definite Nihility themes going on into this, which is also part elation because Aha laughed at the void in their ascension parable, so where elation is, Nihility is also very likely present, which could serve as the light, so Nihility and elation being dark and light, Nihilux. That could be the reason behind her name, but admittedly what really catches my eye isn't her name. It's what it says right here. Strictest mother of the Aeons. And this is weird because there is only one man-made Aeon. Noose, with a parent being Xandar 1 Kuwabara, who just happens to have 8 more thought fragments running around in the cosmos. And if you remember from the relic set, not all of his fragments want to kill Noose. Some of them have their own motives, and some of them just straight up give up. Also, it would be way too obvious if all of his fragments were just Anticatharans like Lygus. So I think they are all different species, especially with someone like Polka running around trying to hunt him down. There is no way someone like Xandar would be that obvious. So as strange and wild as this is, there is a non-zero chance that Nihilux is a fragment of Xandar, unless the meaning of her supposed Aeon mothering is her manuscript that she can't seem to turn in on time and she just writes manga or fanfic about Aeons. She crack ships Lon with Yaoshi, doesn't she? She really could just be a person who writes manga about Aeons, but that would be too obvious and we don't do boring around here. So I think she is a Xandar fragment, and unfortunately that is all I can pull from this splash art. We still got Blade, Silverwolf, Ashveil, and a pink fox that just might need her own video, so I'm going to stop at 3 for now and catch you guys in part 2. Because this is the new cast of Planarcadia Explained. As Planarcadia gets closer and closer, I am just getting antsier and antsier. I'm getting that theory itch. This 8-week Dahlia dream is starting to feel long, but we are in the home stretch. Soon we'll be getting trailers and Myriad Celestias, and they'll probably release a song too, knowing Hoyo. But until then, I'm going to finish talking about who these new faces are. So I'll leave it to you guys. Evanescia or the Stellaron Hunters in Ashveil? Leave a comment with your answer and they will be in the next video. There are just so many things we can learn from a world of elation, and I am so hyped for finding out what Aha is hiding. Because this path is full of mysteries and hidden meanings, with 2 potential villains that are both emanators and both guaranteed to be something insane. But what do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace, y'all.